NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft has been sent back its first message from interstellar space.
For nearly half a century, a small spacecraft has been sailing silently into the dark. It left Earth when disco ruled the radio, when humanity was just taking its first steps toward the stars. Now, decades later, Voyager 2 drifts at the edge of everything we know, listening. And then, just when many thought its voice might go silent forever, it spoke again. Not in words, but in whispers of plasma, in the strange pulses of magnetic fields, in the sharp surge of cosmic rays that no one had seen coming. It wasn't just data, it was something far more profound. It was a message from the edge of the known world. There is a place where the sun no longer reigns, where its breath, the solar wind, finally fails to push back the cold, ancient forces pressing in from the galaxy beyond. That place is called the Heliopause, and Voyager 2 reached it alone. We imagined it would be a gentle boundary, a slow fading of influence. But what Voyager 2 found was not peaceful. It was turbulent, compressed, violent. The calm we had predicted gave way to a storm of high-energy particles colliding like waves crashing on a rocky shore. This wasn't the quiet edge of a lake. It was the surf of a cosmic ocean. And still, Voyager 2 pressed on. Through that invisible curtain, the spacecraft sent back something utterly unexpected. A sudden leap in plasma density. Not a gradual transition, but a jolt, like the snap of a taut string breaking. It confirmed what scientists had long debated, that the bubble carved by our sun into the galaxy ends not with a whisper, but with a bang. For the first time, we were seeing what it truly means to leave the sun's domain and step into the interstellar dark. Back on Earth, the data poured in, and with it, a quiet awe settled over mission control. Decades of travel, billions of miles. And now Voyager 2 was tasting something no machine from Earth had ever felt so clearly. The raw plasma of deep space. The silence out there wasn't empty. It was different. It was ancient. And it was speaking, softly but clearly, through Voyager's instruments. As the spacecraft moved further into this strange new realm, it passed through an invisible furnace, a zone where the solar wind suddenly slowed, thickened, and heated. Imagine a river hitting a dam, water building pressure until it churns and boils. That's what the edge of the solar system had become, a chaotic, breathless place where energy and matter twisted around each other in spirals and eddies. A place not of endings, but of transformation. Voyager 2 didn't just reveal a boundary, it redefined it. Then there was the magnetic field. Scientists had always assumed the field would gently align as the spacecraft transitioned from solar to galactic space. But Voyager 2 told a different story. The magnetic field beyond was askew, tilted, twisted, wild. It was as if the sun's hand let go, and suddenly the wind shifted, like a sailor clearing a fog bank only to find the sea ahead full of whirlpools and crosscurrents. It wasn't just a change in direction, it was a change in reality. And in that moment, something clicked. We realized the solar system isn't a fortress. It isn't surrounded by stone walls. It's a living, breathing bubble, fragile, shifting, unpredictable. Voyager 2's message wasn't a postcard from a distant land. It was a warning, a whisper from the edge. You do not know how small you are. Not yet, but you will. Still, the spacecraft kept flying, kept listening, and somewhere beyond that churning edge, it heard something else, something even stranger. At first, the sound was almost nothing, a hum beneath the silence. Low-frequency plasma waves rippling through the black, like echoes of a memory too old to belong to us. Voyager 2 had crossed the helopause, but the space beyond wasn't quiet. It was alive. These ghostly oscillations weren't coming from the spacecraft or the sun. They were coming from somewhere else, somewhere far beyond the reach of any star we know. Scientists believe they might be the remnants of supernovae, ancient explosions that shattered suns and scattered their bones across the galaxy. And yet, even from across such impossible distances, Voyager could still hear them. It was as though the galaxy itself was breathing, exhaling in waves of energy and silence. And Voyager, our tiny metal emissary, was the first to feel its breath. But then came something even stranger. As the spacecraft drifted deeper into interstellar space, the chaos faded. The turbulence gave way to a strange calm. Voyager's instruments, once spiking with noise, now picked up a near-total quiet in radio emissions. This silence wasn't empty. It felt hollow, like walking into a vast cathedral and realizing you're utterly alone. It was unsettling. Why would space, so chaotic, so energetic, suddenly fall silent? Some believe Voyager 2 entered a rarefied void, a cold, ghostly region between stars where almost nothing stirs. A place so still it hasn't been touched in millions of years. Others think it might be a bubble, an unseen pocket in the interstellar medium, like a forgotten room in a vast house. But no one knows for sure. The silence itself raises questions that echo louder than any signal. What else is out there? What might be watching, waiting, or simply forgotten in the spaces between? And then there was the tail. Voyager 2, by sheer chance, passed through part of what's believed to be the trailing edge of the heliosphere, the sun's magnetic tail stretching behind it like the wake of a boat. But it wasn't neat, it wasn't smooth. It was twisted, fragmented, laced with bubbles of magnetic energy that seemed to float untethered into deep space. It's as if pieces of the sun had broken off and been carried away, drifting farther and farther from home with every solar breath. Inside those bubbles might be echoes of storms that once battered Earth, solar flares, magnetic eruptions, ancient waves of radiation frozen into space. Voyager's instruments pick them up not just as noise but as fingerprints, clues, traces of a solar legacy stretching light years into the unknown. The idea that the sun leaves a trail, an invisible ribbon winding behind it through the galaxy, isn't just poetic, it's humbling, because it means we're not just traveling with the sun, we're dragging its past behind us, a past that could shape the future of anything it touches. As Voyager 2 floated farther from the sun than any object before it, it found turbulence again. The solar wind, now weak and thin, didn't simply vanish. It turned erratic, unpredictable. It twisted and reversed like a river fighting itself. And in those chaotic eddies, scientists glimpsed something powerful. Proof that the edge of the solar system isn't passive. It's alive. It pushes back. It fights to contain the sun's influence, even as the galaxy tries to pull it away. And yet, through all of this, Voyager 2 continued sending home its fragile, precious signals. Even across more than 11 billion miles, across space so vast that light itself takes over 16 hours to reach it, Voyager whispered. What it told us changed everything. Not just about the sun, not just about space, but about what it means to be human, to reach, to endure, to wonder. Voyager 2 doesn't just travel through space, it carries us with it. Our hopes, our questions, our voice, etched into a golden record and bolted to its side, whispering hello to the universe. It was never meant to be more than a scout, a probe meant to survive a few years. Yet somehow it endured. And now, out in a realm no human hand will ever touch, it's revealing something we never anticipated, that the boundaries of our solar system aren't made of distance. They're made of movement, of change, of breath. Because the edge isn't fixed. The data Voyager 2 sent back revealed something astonishing. The boundary we call the Heliopause. It pulses. It expands and contracts with the cycles of the sun, swelling out during solar storms and shrinking inward during quiet lulls. It breathes like a living organism. That rhythm, that cosmic inhale and exhale, means that the shield surrounding our solar system isn't a wall, it's a veil, one that shifts, one that tears, one that sometimes lets things in. What that means is as terrifying as it is beautiful. It means our solar system is not sealed, it's open to the galaxy. Galactic radiation, once thought to be kept at bay, can slip through in waves depending on the sun's mood. That radiation may touch our planet, quietly, invisibly, nudging the course of life in ways we still don't understand. It could shape climate, it could influence evolution. The same forces Voyager 2 now swims through may have brushed against Earth 1,000, a million, a billion years ago, and may again. And in this revelation, we see just how fragile everything is. We live inside a bubble, floating in a sea of fire and ice. That bubble protects us, but it's thin, wrinkled, warped, subject to storms not just from our own sun, but from the galaxy itself. Voyager 2 has shown us that this edge we imagined as a simple line is actually a battleground, a place where the solar wind fights off the interstellar dark and sometimes loses, a place where cosmic rays race in, where magnetic fields twist and snap, where the past of dying stars meets the breath of our own. And yet, even now, as it sails deeper into this new frontier, Voyager 2 is not just a machine, it's a time capsule. It carries the sound of our voices, our laughter, our music, our longing. It carries the story of a species so small and yet so curious. We hurled a piece of ourselves into the abyss simply to ask, who else is out here? There is something profoundly human about that. Not the technology, not the science, but the vulnerability, the quiet bravery of reaching outward, not knowing what we'll find. Voyager 2 doesn't just teach us about the edge of the solar system, it reminds us of the edge inside ourselves, that place where fear meets wonder, where we stop asking what we can conquer and start asking what we might discover. Because this isn't the end. The edge Voyager 2 crossed isn't a door closing, it's a window opening, a glimpse into a universe not silent, but singing in frequencies we've only just begun to hear. A place where stars die and galaxies collide, where energy moves like tides, where space is not still but alive. And through it all, Voyager drifts, alone, but never forgotten. Each signal it sends is a heartbeat, a reminder that somewhere out there, a tiny vessel from Earth is still sailing into the unknown, carrying the best of us into the endless night. We may never catch up to it, but maybe that's the point. Maybe Voyager 2's greatest gift is that it shows us just how far we're willing to go, simply to understand. And that, more than any data, more than any discovery, is what makes its journey eternal.